Hey, good morning, folks. We are, let me check my volume here real quick, make sure we're coming through okay. And yeah, we're going to get to work on some more Spelljammer interior book art today. Give me a second here to check my signal, and then we'll get to work. So let's see. A-okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's see. A-okay, okay, okay. 1, 2, 3. So let's see. Yeah, that sounds right. All right, cool. Let's see. Hit my signal here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, intro. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing game supplements that I publish online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition on the DMsGuild here for the past few years. There's a slew of links in the description down below that will show you previous work that I've done, probably about 150 some odd illustrations amongst the works that are listed there. There's a huge Christmas and July discount, 40% off going right now, so if you think any of that stuff is cool, consider making a purchase to support the channel and just to see the kind of work that I do. Check out the previews, make sure you know what you're looking at. Otherwise, I've just posted on Twitter that I've gone live, so if you want to find out when I'm live in the future, you can do so by following me at Phil Kearney. Got a Patreon down there if you want to throw me a tip. Otherwise, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. It's the best way to support the channel. Let the algorithms know that this is stuff that folks are interested in. We're building a book. So Spelljammer came out last year from Wizards of the Coast, and we have the opportunity to create a little bit more depth of the combat and exploration modes of flying through wild space in the astral sea. It's about a 108-page document, and right now we're working on the equipment and ship section. This is the border that we have laid out and shaded out to make sure that we stay within the lines. We are currently creating artwork for the helm. You got no head, you got no body. I'm liking how this is coming along. So give me a second here to make sure that everything's sitting pretty. I'm gonna drop the opacity on that and do it again. Let's do it again. Get our brush down to. We're here. For folks that aren't familiar with the stream, we're here 5 days a week in the mornings, Monday through Friday, doing Spelljammer art, and we'll continue doing so until all 108 pages are resolved and we publish online. We're here on Monday and Thursday night, including this evening. We do cartography for an upcoming Eberron adventure that will also publish on DMsGuild. On Saturday, this upcoming weekend, in the morning, we do commission work. We've been working on the book cover for Joseph Vargas, also known as Ukulele Bard, for those that know. He has a new role-playing game that he's been developing called Reclement, basically about nature taking back Earth during the Industrial Revolution from humanity. And then on Tuesdays at lunchtime, we do a mechanical development stream for new 5th edition concepts, specifically martial powers, giving an alternate magic system and 130 some odd options for martial casters to select preparation from, similar to how a wizard would prepare spells. A fighter, barbarian, rogue, monk, ranger, paladin can select from various martial powers to prepare and use a long rest mana resource to pay for them. So it has a sort of Magic the Gathering color mana or Avatar Airbender elemental mana spin to use approach. So you can check that stuff out on Tuesday. So I'm here 9 times a week across 6 days, and we do development, page layouts, artwork, and just talk philosophy in general. So I've been role-playing since 1982, so about 39 years, I guess, this year. Yeah. And so I certainly have some opinions. Maybe I'll share some of them if something comes up. But right now we are just working on this character. We have the sketch in there. We are just trying to build out more solid line art just to make this look a little stronger before we start laying in the color. When we talked last time, we were talking about the eagle totem for the totem barbarian, having the eagle vision of a 1 mile. Can see up to 1 mile away, which is incredibly helpful in space. So it's actually a really, really great lookout pilot sort of character to have at the helm. You can use rage during combat with the melee weapons that ships are equipped with to engage in grappling and ramming and all that good melee combat stuff in space. And I ran out of words, so cheers. We'll be getting into the combat section of illustrations and diagrams and stuff here pretty soon. So if you stick around, like and subscribe, we'll be in the combat section. Probably late next week. And I apparently locked up. Apparently OBS, Photoshop, and Wacom occasionally don't interact properly, and it causes the program to freeze. So I have to close and then reopen the document that we're working on. Actually, we'll probably work on hazards next week. We'll probably get to combat first week or so in August, I reckon. Second week, probably the second week. The orb. I am starting to explore ideas about Kickstarter. I don't have any sort of an email list, so I'm looking at backer kit, I guess. They help with marketing and stuff, and they just take a percentage of whatever it is that you earn. But got a number of ideas I want to play out in 2024, 2025. And if BackerKit can assist me in outreaching to folks that are interested in role-playing ideas, then I should have a decent chance of being able to build out something pretty cool here. I'm thinking specifically for guilds and kingdoms. I've been developing a document for that for the past year. It's a pretty damn solid concept, but I need to lock down the numbers and obviously do the layouts, and there's a lot of page art and stuff that needs to be done. But the system works. It works really, really well. So I'm thinking about making that a community commons thing, perhaps. Like if I can kickstart it and just put it on CC, then it'll be out there for folks to use, and then I can start doing I can use my Patreon to post like Ravnica and Theros stuff for it for folks that are D&D enthusiasts, and as well as like Eberron, the Dragon Mark houses can use the system. So we'll see where all that goes. But it's my muse is whispering to me about it, and I want to hear. I think we have a decent opportunity to be able to create some really cool stuff and make it really, really affordable for people to get access to it. We're still figuring things out, so give us some time. Stick around. We'll find out. We'll find out what the proper path is, and once we have that locked down, we'll be able to surge forth with confidence. And that hand is miserable. You gotta get out of there, buddy. So far, so good. I'm gonna make another layer, a separate layer. There we go. Easy peasy. There we go. Not bad. All right, cool. So we can then conceal the sketch. I feel like this needs to be a little wider out like this. Yeah, like that. Very cool. Come on, Kearney. All right, now that we got this dude set, you can grab all this remnants. Trash. I'll go with line. Reduce that just a touch so it doesn't crowd the page too much. Cool. All right, so that looks pretty good. We can take the line art and let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's go into, let's jump over here and let's go with stone throne. I hate rhymes. Let's find a lighting we like. Yeah, let's just grab that. Copy image. I'm just looking for color references right now. Grab. And let's go with orc shaman. Orc eagle shaman. That dude looks hostile. That's cool. Ooh, I don't know. This kind of has a mix of the. Nah. Let's see. Let's find something. Something that we like. I don't hate that. Timely timer. I got a 20-minute timer kicking to make sure I don't dive down a rabbit hole too far. Oh. I've seen your face before, my friend. Although I don't think you know who I am. That's the one. Get out of here, scallywag. Yes. That's pretty perfect. Okay, cool. So let's first things first. Let's grab a basic stone texture. Here's our references: line, trash, color, comic book style. We're just going to colorize. That's a very dark color. I'm going to be okay with that. We'll do cleanup later. Yeah, that's a good tone. So do the back first, and then we'll do the body armor, and then we'll do flesh. So it's moving forward in the page as you go to the right. Before I lock myself in too deep here, how do we feel about that? Yeah, somehow I don't feel like that's... A lot of times you want to have the art pushed into the page, but in this instance, I think I actually like it the other way around. So a lot, like I said, a lot of times I try to push the attention towards the middle of the page. I feel like this, yeah, I feel like this is pushing us the other way. Coolio. So we'll do like that. We'll do a like a. I could just clip it here because of the box. That's interesting. Man, doing a fade there might not be a bad idea. Not bad. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it like that. We'll just do a fade out there. Or maybe something like that. That looks kind of cool. Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from the One Bookshelf team that represents DMsGuild to find out what the rules are about using Wizard IP in a Kickstarter project. Like, what limitations do I have, like, on naming files? And because DMsGuild can't copyright art, but they copyright ideas, right? They don't own the artwork that I produce. They do own the text in the documents that you write. So we are allowed to do Kickstarters for artwork, but I don't know all the rules behind it. So I'm waiting for their team to clarify that. And once they do, then we may be able, if you check out all the links I have down below to the different books I've published on DMsGuild, they are extensive previews. You technically don't need to buy any of my books to be able to understand what it is that the books represent, like what they're explaining, what they're offering. And I do that so you can self-reference, because a lot of the work that I do are self-referential. Like the Color Mana book, for instance. I have like 5 books on different types of class usage of Color Mana, and the spell point, the Martial Powers book that we're working on is basically going to be like our 6th. So you can reference all of those books to see, how the system works as a whole, and then choose to purchase however much of it as you want. And I've done pretty well with it as far as just the ideas are concerned. And I've sold a few hundred copies of each of them at this point. So that's cool. But if I can get into kickstarting, like if I can use MTG, like if I can do Boros, and like I can advertise through Magic the Gathering Boros character art, or like a Boros guild work, then I can continue producing stuff on the DMsGuild as content, and then have the Kickstarter back all the artwork that I'll drop into that. And then the rewards on the Kickstarter would be individual separate image files, so you can have all the artwork separate from the document, and then the document remains 100% free preview, so you can choose to buy the book or not. It's you've purchased, you've invested in my time in doing all this stuff on stream like this to be able to produce that content. That's the idea. And I don't know, again, once I get back the rules, what I can and can't do with Wizard IPs involving Kickstarter, then we'll know what we can actually do and how to sally forth. That may lead me to being, like I said, off guild and just doing generic work, and then save all my guild, all my like DM words, Kearney. Save the word I'm looking for is D&D related IP to fan content that I can put on my Patreon. So put out the idea, and then like have a generic idea on, like, say, Drive-Thru RPG, and then use those ideas and express them using Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons IP. Like the Guilds and Kingdom book, for instance. I can just create a generic Guilds and Kingdoms book, and then on my Patreon detail all the guilds for Eberron, all the guilds for Ravnica, the churches in Theros, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Not 100%. Again, I just want to get that. I just want to get that confirmation before I know how to properly proceed. So that's new and exciting. Well, to me anyway. Boots. Under the boots, I'll put pants. With 2 monotone. There. Yeah, okay. So when you're colorblind, you can't just guess what the colors are. If you do it long enough, you can get an idea of, like, you know, that's an off green, that's a green skin. You know, you can use your RGB board over here to show you what the, you know, what the math of the colors are, but you don't get the aesthetics. Like I can't just guess that this is right. So I want to use illustrations from other people, seeing how they're using color, and I can just swipe the colors off of their piece, like these feathers, for instance. I can just grab those colors. And drop them in like that. So as long as I'm working in the, you know, the shades of it's called value. Value is the how much white and black is in the color that you use. A 0 value is black. A value of 10 is white. And I need, yeah. Oh, we can just borrow these knee braces here. Skin. TBD, to be determined. That's my favorite. have the color roughed in. We can. That's backdrop. Doing a gentle fade in here, just to just to break up the starkness of it. Add a little warmth to the room, as it were. Be mindful of this border over here. The boundaries are good in art. You don't want to just a free canvas. You want to have parameters and rules to operate inside of. It's figuring out how to operate within the constraints of the composition is how you spur creativity. Force yourself to find solutions to a problem. An idea that I want to play with here. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm keeping this low. Just fading that in. I spy with my eyes something beginning with text. Barf, my face. Hey, what's up? Hey, Nitro. What's the TV on his head about? That's gonna be a tattoo. We'll figure out what that tattoo is after we finish him. It'll probably just be like a skull and crossbones or something like that. I have no idea. Or maybe we'll get rid of it, but... I'll probably go with like a purplish in the orbs here, and then I'll match that purple light with his eyes. So his eyes will have a purple glow to them to symbolize the connection with the ship. And I'll probably do that. I think I'll make that a theme moving forward with pilots. my itchiness. Almost done fading this in. I think I'm happy with that. Almost there. Catchphrase. I think it's about time for me to get my hair trimmed because it has been itching my face a lot lately. It's a good indication I got too much dead end. Perfect. That's pretty good. Actually, it's not perfect. It is pretty good, though. There. Perhaps similar how flame stickers are put on cars to make them faster. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. Let's continue making magic here real quick, though. Save real quick, and then let's grab some black backdrop. Just gonna fetch it off of this is another piece I've been working on for the smoke and fire section of hazards. I've got a dragon basically catching the bottom side of that ship on fire, which I think is just great. Screw you, Oofus. But I'm gonna grab this. We're going to duplicate that layer and pull it into. See, I do stuff off screen. I have to do more and more stuff off screen as I keep pushing down through the document. But we'll get back to that guy later. Let's select inverse and let's delete that layer mask, and then let's put a new one there. Kind of like the idea of that. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Coffee makers. Yes. Wow. In. Blend them in. Yeah, but then we have to figure out what those chevrons would be, and I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. And he might not have any rank at all. I mean, he's just a scroll pilot, right? Flames might not be a bad idea. I don't know. We'll let the muse decide. It's probably just going to be some sort of travel weave. But he's pretty cool. I like him. The barbarian at the helm isn't a bad idea at all. He's going to be able to, while raging, he can, because the way that the system works is you can take as much, like you always have warding. The pilot always has a ward effect on the ship, so you can always, the pilot can always take as much damage for the ship as you want. But that damage can get really big, like 60 points of damage on a hit. Like, well, typically 30 or 40 is going to be most common because ballistas do D4 times 10 damage, and catapults do d6 times 10 damage. So on average, you're going to be doing like 20 or 30 damage per hit, which can, you know, on a, if you have like 3 or 4 weapons on a ship, that's we're talking like around 60, 70 hit points per round that you're probably going to be dealing to each other, and you're going to have damage reduction, which is going to hem down typically about 15 hit points worth of damage. So it wouldn't be unusual for like 45 damage going to the ship each round, and then your character can take as much damage of that as they want. It's like if you split that up, like say your character takes 20 and then your barbarian's raging while you do that, that further reduces it down to 10, and then your ship takes 20. And if your ship has 400 hit points, you can take a volley of 3 or 4 ballista, or like a mix of like 2 ballista and a catapult, and your ship's only probably going to take 20 hit points of damage if you're on average, if you're willing to take 20 of it yourself. And then if you have like if you cast Blade Ward, like if your support character on the orrery is casting Blade Ward to the armor of the ship, that reduces that down to 10 hit points of damage that it takes. And then the barbarian, if using rage, would have resistance to bludgeon and piercing damage also, so that would take that 20 damage they took down to 10. So a barrage of 2 or 3 shots from a typical ship is going to deal probably 10 damage to, well, it could be 20 damage, but probably 10 damage to the pilot, and then 10 to 20 damage to the ship. You can take a lot of that, but that also means that you can have 2 or 3 ships attacking your characters at a time, similar to as though if they were having a normal encounter. It kind of just pans out. So it's yeah, a barbarian pilot is a great idea. And then with a focus concept here, you could be raging while focusing, because focus isn't the same as concentration, though it has the same consequences as concentration. Push that over a touch. There. And if your team is tanking too easily, then you fire multiple shots at the same time, so that instead of like being 20 points, 20 points, 30 points, it'd be all 3 shots at the same time, which would be 70 points, which will do a lot of damage. But it also means that if you do a full range volley with all weapons at once, you're going to have to spend a lot of action economy resetting all those weapons. So it's a good way to be able to do a lot of damage, but you're only going to be able to at best do that once. And if you miss, you're really screwing up. So that's like, you want to use action economy, like to use bonus actions to aim and then grant advantage. So there's fun little levers and dials you can pull to optimize what your team is doing. I'm actually really happy with that. I think we can do that, and then let's trim that down a little bit. But like having a barbarian raging to protect the ship is a great idea for a pilot. However, instead, perhaps, you want to have your paladin as the pilot, because then they can use their smite spells to amp up the amount of damage that they're doing with melee weapons as you're piloting. So like if you have like a scorpion ship with like grappling claws, for instance, doing d6 times 10 damage, and then you use like a second level smite dealing an extra 3d8 damage, you're probably going to be doing like around maybe 40 points of damage when you hit with that claw using that smite, which is a lot of damage to an individual ship. Especially if like if you have NPC pilots that can only take like 15-20 hit points, they're not going to be willing to tank a lot of damage for their ship. So you can knock down ships really easily. Or if you have like a boss fight, then you're going to have a pilot that's going to have a lot of hit points that can take a ton of damage, and their ship isn't going to be taking a lot because they're going to be eating the damage. Maybe they have like a shaman support character that's going to be able to heal them as they're piloting. So there's a lot of fun levers and dials you can pull to change the damage of an encounter. Depending on what depending on what your team has, what they can do, and how much they enjoy scrapping. But it's not 20 rounds of combat to knock down a ship. It's like three or four rounds of combat, and you're resolving a fight. Pretty much in pace with D&D. So if you're having a Galaga style space combat, you can have 3 or 4 ships coming at your characters at once, and they can realistically take them out, 6-7 rounds, depending on how you scale the damage. And that just becomes a lot more fun than how Spelljammer is originally presented. And as your characters gain levels and they get into the hundreds of hit points, and a single ballista shot's like trivial to them, that's when you start attacking them with squadrons of ships that are attacking with 6 or 7 ballistas as a squadron at the same time, dealing like 6d4 times 10 damage. It was like 100 points of damage a pop. Now your barbarian is tanking 40 points of damage per round to keep their 300 hit point ship from being destroyed. That becomes a significant challenge in the 9th to 15th level. And then at the epic tier of 17 plus, when they've got 250 hit points on your barbarian, then you could be hitting them with fleets. 7 or 8 ships at a time. So that feels good. I'm okay with that. Fade this up in here like that a little bit. So from ships, it's from a ship with a single weapon to a ship with multiple weapons and a volley, to a squadron of ships attacking in coordination, to a fleet of squadrons of multiple ships dealing fireball times 10 damage to your ship per round, dropping shit. Like, you take 700 hit points in a single volley from a fleet of ships, and you've got like 8 or 9 ships in your fleet. You're going to have to drop a ship, because a ship only has 200 hit points a pop. So if you take a volley of 600 hits, then you're going to have to sacrifice like one of your 8 hammerhead ships, for instance. Now you're down to only 7 ships in your fleet, and it just whittles down like that. So it's got these fun different scales. The whole system's built around scaling distance, scaling damage, scaling ships. Super fun. And then when we get to the mass combat system with armies and platoons, we'll have that same ability to scale using creatures instead of ships. But it's the same principle of squads building into platoons, into legions of larger and larger footprints. Like a platoon, like a small squad might fit in a 20 by like a gargantuan footprint, like 20 by 20, which is like a 4 by 4 space, which is 16 medium-sized or small-sized creatures. Having them all coordinating together as a combat unit, and then adding that 4 by 4 squad into like a 50-foot unit of like 6 squads. So you're doing larger and larger damage, but since they're people, they move slower and slower as you scale up in size. Like they can only traverse, 30 feet per round and still attack. So you have to start scaling out their movement with the amount of troops that you're coordinating. And we've already resolved that stuff. It's just we haven't published it yet. But now, again, I'm waiting to get feedback from DMsGuild One Bookshelf to find out how I can potentially kickstart stuff. It's like I want to do that Dragonlance thing, but that's that Dragonlance project alone will probably take me 18 months to complete. So if I can do a Kickstarter converting the board game and the campaign into a book of maps with all the NPC tokens and stuff on top of the mass combat system. We can publish the mass combat system with all the maps and stuff on the DMsGuild for probably like $30. But then we can also offer a Kickstarter for all the maps and token assets for $30. So if you just want the assets and you don't want to buy the book, then you can just back the Kickstarter. But I don't know if they're going to allow that or not. We'll find out. That's what I'm waiting on. Okay, so here's our colorization. I'm pretty happy with that. It's 7:15. I've still got 40 minutes left. So let's peel this guy open and start working on him. Throne. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Close enough. Line. So let's go back to our reference. Layers, arranging layers. There we go. So let's see. We got our darks. Let me put the darks behind. Like that. Let's blend that on in. So now my job, since I have the colors established, what I want to do is make sure that I'm having a good mix of light and dark. So I've got this mid-tone back here that this highlight is punching against and this shadow here is punching against. So I've got good dichotomy there that's causing this form to be able to stay separated from the background. That's just composition, but it's really important. Like, to be able to make your piece pop, you want to have really good the word I'm looking for is contrast. Strong contrast. make the piece pop. Oh my god, my nib. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. That nib has got a sharp angle going to it. I've really worn down the tip of it. I'm gonna have to replace it soon. It can still do work for me, but I can feel it scratching on the tablet. This line art will go away. We'll merge it all in. So that means we can edge here. And just drop in a shadow there. Actually, put that in a separate layer here. So far, so good. Now we can blend down into here. Cool, so that's fine for the throne for now. And we go back into colorize here. What am I missing? Oh. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a uniform color here. I'll do like that. Water. Coffee. There we go. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Boots. Let's do like that. I need to keep in mind that this orb is lit, so it's going to be throwing lighting at stuff. So I need to have a not only a like the brighter tone here, the brighter value on the material that's facing towards it, but I also will need to then put a highlight of the purple that we're going to use in that light. So we're going to end up having two different types of highlights going on that are basically going to overlay each other. It should end up looking fine. That's just something we have to be aware of. That'll work. Huh. Oh, okay. Let's let's do flesh. Flesh. Do want to do, make sure I'm keeping this perfect. You got that gray tone there. It's working for us. Oopie doopie. I want to do this a highlight. I want to have a separate layer for this, not the same layer. Let's do that again. So you got the feathers here that are highlight, and it goes nicely against the dark of the shadow and the skin here. Good contrast. Nice mix. And all we're really doing, again, is worrying about highlights right now, or just the rough color. We'll merge down the line art, and then we'll just do cleanup with sculpting. If I had cleaner line art, the process would be smoother, but apparently that is not was not what was assigned to us. So some of that. Nice. 7:30. All right, we're in our last 20-minute kick. Chances are we'll finish this tomorrow. And then, so tonight we're going to be doing Eberron cartography. Tomorrow morning, in about 26 hours, we'll be doing Reclamant book cover work, and there's a decent chance that we're going to have that finished tomorrow. And if we don't, then we'll spend some time on it on Monday to make sure that it is done on time. Flesh. Here. August 1st is our deadline for the Reclamant book cover, which is a Tuesday, which means that we'll have this Saturday and Monday to work on that. And depending on how far we get on Saturday, we'll determine if we need to spend Monday night finishing it or not. And then I think I have another book cover lined up after that for Brian Holmes and Andy Headley's. I think they have a horror campaign that they're looking for a book cover for. I'm not sure of the details yet, but we'll get that figured out. It feels good to do our Feels nice to be back in the commission work. I'm so picky about what I'm willing to do. It's nice to find something. It's nice to find people to work with that I trust, that they aren't going to hand me something stupid to do. That's why I stopped doing commissions, because I just got tired of this weird crap people want all the time. A lot of furry commissions out there. The people will pay a lot of art for their furries. That is for sure. I'm just gonna go with a darker base through here. And again, we're doing highlights here because we know that we're going to have this purple lighting here. So there's going to be lighting coming this way and this way. So I want to have a little bit of highlighting like that. And I can darken down up here. Pretty good. hold on. Let's go back to that. That's yellow. Nah, I want a purpley. Alright, get out of here, you scallywag. Let's go with maybe not. I want a little bit of highlighting, and we'll probably have to rim the fingers like that. And we'll have to blend these in a bit. Hmm. For now, we get rid of that. All right, we are at cleanup. So I'm gonna drop that out of view. Background is good. This is where we get nervous. All right, we're just going to work it one step at a time. So we've now merged this all into a single layer here, and we need to actually grab that. Duplicate that group. We're going to merge that group down there. And we're going to rename this throne. Single layer there. Serial. Try this one more time. One more time. Duplicate that group. Merge that group down. Conceal this group. Good. Don't need the orbs for now. All right, so let's start working the problem. We're going to switch to our square here for a bit. Typically, a piece like this, I should be able to resolve the cleanup in about 2 hours. Sounds about right. So for now, I'm just going with the color gradient, just to try to blend the line and the color together smoothly. And then we'll be able to come back and put cracks and stuff into the helm if appropriate. I hear ya. All right. 750. Yeah, it's time for us to kick. All right, kids. I'm gonna bounce out of here for the day. Push that up a little bit more. Raise that down a little bit. So, when we come back tomorrow, we will continue this piece, and we'll most likely be able to finish it tomorrow. If not, then it'll certainly be done on Saturday. And we'll be back tonight in about 11 some odd hours for the Eberron cartography. So subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when that goes live, or follow me on Twitter if you want. I always announce when I'm live on Twitter. At Phil Kearney, link down below in the description. We'll be back, so we'll be back in about 11 hours to do the book cover. We'll be back tomorrow morning, just like this, the same time, same channel, to continue work on this piece of art. It's cool as fuck, man. We'll be back, we'll do the Reclamant book art tomorrow morning. Bob Ross environment painting. So if you want to see Bob Ross done in Photoshop using digital tools, digital brushes, digital painting, I've done about 120 some odd of his illustrations so far, so I'm pretty good at doing Bob Ross online. You'll see that process put into a fantasy book cover environment. And then we'll come back on Monday and we'll keep doing Spelljammer art until it's done, and hopefully we'll have an answer from OBS about what kind of Kickstarter artwork I can do using Wizard of the Coast IP to see if we can start kickstarting artwork for the books that we provide for on DMsGuild. I always provide a 100% free preview. If you check out the links in the DMsGuild below, you'll see all my books. I provide extensive previews for all the things that I put up there, and you'll see all the artwork that I put into them. And so the thought is, what I've done traditionally is I build the book and all the artwork, and it takes months to do it. And then I publish it on DMsGuild, and it either hits or it doesn't. But most of my stuff, virtually everything I have is metaled. Anywhere from 50 to 500 sales for everything that I put out there. So if people see my work, they buy it. They like it. I'm happy about that. I'm very proud of that. But I think if I can start doing Kickstarters with artwork, like Kickstart first to then pay for the artwork, then more people can get pulled into the process. We can have more people talking about like what kind of stuff do we want to have in these illustrations while I'm doing it, and we'll be able to have a much broader conversation with more people about where we're going and what we're trying to do. So I think that'll help build momentum overall to look at some of these alternate 5e concepts at a larger scale. I think this is going to help the community. So that's the thought process behind it anyway. So anyone that's lurking, thanks a lot for hanging out. Nitro, as always, I appreciate your inspiration and guidance. We'll this guy's fucking cool. This is gonna be a great piece when it's done. I'm really looking forward to it. It looks a little choppy right now, but if you see a lot of my other works, they're rough like that in the beginning until we clean them up. and then the lighting and all the fading should make everything look really smooth. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot for being here, and I'll be back in 11-ish hours. Bye.